with its abundant wildlife, its rugged scenery, the awe-inspiring glaciers, and a place to see the northern lights. Going to Svalbard is an extraordinary adventure. Located 1,200 miles north of Norway are the islands of Svalbard. They are part of Norway and one of the world's northernmost sparsely inhabited areas. The polar bear population is estimated to be over 3,500 and is growing steadily. Adult bears can weigh up to 1,800 pounds and be 10 feet long. They can smell animals over 5 miles away and can even find a seal air hole in the ice a mile away. Small wonder, locals call them noses with legs. Svalbard reindeer are the smallest subspecies of reindeer. They're the only large grazing mammal in the Arctic. By the early 20th century, they were almost extinct. More recent conservation laws have helped the population to rebound. Most live for about 10 years. The current population is estimated to be around 10,000. There are numerous species of whales around this archipelago. The largest is the blue whale. It can be up to 100 feet in length and weigh 150 tons. Belugas, humpback, and fin whales can also be seen. Walruses, strange as it might seem, originally lived in the tropics. Scientists theorize that millions of years ago they followed food sources north and ended up in the Arctic. They have adapted to their frigid environment by growing thick bristled skin and up to 6 inches of insulating blubber underneath. Their flippers and sensitive whiskers are used to brush the seafloor to search for clams, sucking them out of their shells by the thousands. There are 234 species of birds recorded on these islands. They solved the freezing winters by migrating south in late summer to a more favorable climate. One of the few birds which remain all year long are the Galamats. Tens of thousands live along these sheer cliffs. They can dive to a depth of 600 feet in search for fish and crustaceans. There are over 142 colonies on these islands. Unfortunately, they are continuously being circled by glaucous gulls, who live on their eggs, chicks, and even the adults. Svalbard is covered with rugged and majestic landscapes. For the more adventurous tourists who want to explore the terrain, climbing up a hillside to reach its summit is a special adventure. This trek ended with finding a canyon and gazing at its multiple glaciers as they recede into the valley below. The glaciers in Svalbard have continuously retreated over the last 40 years. Nevertheless, there are still over 2,000, which cover 14,000 square miles and 60% of the islands. This one is one of the largest in the world. It's 28 miles long, covers 490 square miles, is 2,000 feet thick and 100 feet high. During the summer, there are a series of waterfalls along its front. Whaling was historically a big business in Svalbard. This old whaler's cabin has recently been restored. Tourists can now stay for extended periods to explore and experience what living must have been like for the whalers. Nails cover the exterior to keep the bears away. This structure could have been an outhouse, but it's anyone's guess. Bones of hundreds of whales remain near the cabin. Deep in the heart of the mountain is the Svalbard Seed Vault. Carved 500 feet into the mountain, it's been dubbed the Doomsday Vault. It contains over 1.1 million variety of seeds from almost every country in the world, with room for millions more. It's one of the 1,700 vaults around the world to secure its future food supply. Sea ice starts north of Svalbard and extends all the way to the North Pole. It averages 9.5 million square miles, or about 2.5 times the area of Canada. As the ice expands and contracts, it keeps the polar regions cool, influences the climate, and provides a habitat for many animals. Seeing the northern lights is fascinating. Unfortunately, they can only be seen during the winter, when the temperatures average between minus 15 and 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It certainly takes a bold tourist to brave the winter. Visiting Svalbard is a spellbinding experience. Seeing its Arctic wildlife, the wonders of its rugged scenery, its majestic glaciers, and the enormous sea ice, and for the adventurous, the northern lights, is something one will always remember.